individuals to join the 2020 Textile, Clothing, Footwear Sector SABS webinar. My name is Dinesh Naidu, and I'm the General Manager within the certification team, and I'll be your program manager for today as well. I think just to start, it's quite a momentous occasion in the lives of SABS. We've just reached in September 75 full years of being in existence. Quite a milestone, quite an achievement, quite a strong role that we've been playing in the certification accreditation space, in the testing space, and certainly contributing to the South African economy in this journey itself. So just to take you through some developments within SABS, we've heard you as the industry. You've been through difficult times in your dealings with SABS in 2016, 2017, 2018. And we've looked internally, and what we've identified is that our approach has been very much a regional type of an approach. So you ended up with different service levels depending on where you were located in the country itself. And what we've done now is we've made significant changes to how we run this business, and we've moved very much towards a cluster or a sector approach. And that's the reason for today's event, is to actually look at how we can offer you the service as a valued client from a sectorial perspective. So just on the program for today, we'll be touching on key developments and more details that will provide you with developments within SABS. You'll also get an opportunity to meet your client manager, and we'll share the One SABS approach, which is something that we're striving towards. So before we go into the presentation itself, I would just like to add a few points. Firstly, within 48 hours of the webinar itself, a full recording will be uploaded onto our YouTube platform. Your colleagues that might have missed this opportunity will certainly be able to then join in, connect in, and listen to the session itself. We also encourage you during the presentation itself to type in your comments on the chat bar, so that these can be comments, these can be your view on what we could further do to improve the approach we're taking. Please, we value all of that, and we certainly will provide you with responses during the course of the session. And if not, we'll definitely contact you individually to update you on any of the comments that you may raise. So with that said, I'd like to hand over to Henk. Henk is the client manager for this area, and he'll take you through the presentation itself. Henk, over to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for everybody to attending this webinar today. My name is Henk. I'm the client manager in the sector for textile and footwear. And yeah, today I'm just going to tell you a bit more about ourselves. What are we all about? And my background is that I'm coming from a manufacturing or production background, and I'm with SABS now for the last 3 years. So yeah, thank you for listening, and yeah, we'll take it from here. Thank you so much. Okay, first I want to touch on our accreditation. We are accredited by two bodies. One is SANS and one is RVA. Our labs are accredited to ISO 17025, and our certification is accredited to 17021, and our management system to 17065. We do get audited on an annual basis by these two entities, and we got global recognition of accreditation based on IAF multi-racial agreements, thereby allowing for market access. This is our offering and our value chain. We've got, on the one hand, we got standards, then we got training, we got advisory section and certification and testing. Through the presentation, I will touch on each of these ones, and you will see where it can assist you in your industry. Right, what we embarked on in certification at SABS is that we we went for a C4 called Certification Client Control Center. This for the ability for SABS certification to control business intelligence, supporting decision making requires a division to be able to achieve the following. We want to automate, remove duplication, and integrate it with all support systems that maintain the accreditation and certification process. Is to ensure an optimal structure which maximizes the competencies available. To have centralized planning requires a need for a system to have an ability to view full customer audit history. And unfortunately, this industry from textile and footwear, you stuck with me as your client manager. You the proud winners of Henk Miller. And what Henk Miller is going to do for you and what client manager is going to do for you in the near future is the client managers was put in place to have a more of a sector approach. We as client managers will engage proactively with existing customers with emphasis on clients retention, and we will also engage with new clients, and we will really just be your friend at the SABS, if I can call it like that. We will work closely within the sector and will serve as a link to the SABS through our sales team, standard sales, training, advisory, labs, standards. And so if you got an issue with anything that's happening at SABS, you can contact me and I will be the person who direct you in the right direction. I will assist you to get your issue sorted. And if I cannot do it on my own, I will definitely get help in to try and smoothen the journey in our relationship. And where applicable, client managers will also play a key account manager role. Just what do we do in certification? We got system certification. Certification is a conformity assessment process whereby independent natural body confirms that a product or service complies with relevant specifications. Certification is a voluntary process whereby companies will request a conformity assessment. Conformity assessment to test their management system and product against the relevant standard. In year one, you will get a stage 1 audit, a stage 2 audit. You get approved by the SABS approval board, and your certificate will be issued. In your second year, there's a surveillance audit. In your third year, there's a surveillance audit, and in year 3, there will be a recertification, and that happens every 3 years. Management system is a collection of business processes focused on consistently meeting customer requirements and enhancing satisfaction. Some of the systems that we do offer in this sector is obviously our ISO 9001 that a lot of you guys are familiar with, also 14001, and a lot of people in the sector is also engaging in OHSAS 45001. Product certification in our sector here. In your year 1, there will be a general permit condition, specific permit conditions that will be signed off. There will be a SABS approval, then your permit will be issued. In year 2, you will be post-permit audit, year 3, and then you will get recertified. Just on that, is a lot of our products in this sector get tested twice a year. There's 2 audits a year. It all depends on what kind of product we're dealing with. The benefits of the SABS approved mark is assure your quality in critical products, improve your procurement and provides assurance. It's improved supply chain management, it reduce poor quality processes, identify weak controls in the business process, enhance legal compliance, mitigate of business risk, reduce lost revenue due to non-compliant goods, improve the integrity of tender documentation and requirements. And what is very excited in this, especially in the textile side of it, is that we recently introduced SANS 1812. That is for reusable sanitary towels. That is going very strong at the moment. Our testing facilities is very equipped to do your test. We had clients already engaging in the certification process. And also our SMME department is quite involved in assisting the SMMEs there's actually some money that's been set aside by the government that's been allocated to this sector. So huge opportunity there, huge growth, and also we as SABS, we can fulfill those certification needs and testing needs that may occur. Then we also do good consignment inspection. A lot of you guys in the sector deal with our consignment inspection department. There's a quotation, confirmation, there's an on-site inspection, decisions, and then inspection certificates been issued. The benefit of independent inspection: technical independent competent inspectors used to ensure compliance against ISO 17020. Conduct third-party evaluation. All products are independently sampled, after which testing is conducted whenever necessary. Quality assurance activities ensure compliance of commodities against specification, ensures ongoing compliance against requirements. The manufacturing capabilities audits to confirm capacity and capability to manufacture. And currently we got a bilateral agreement with Botswana and Namibia to allow for greater value of market for stuff that comes into South Africa and in products that's going out of South Africa. Then a very exciting thing that's also happening at SAB is our local content verification. There is a financial verification that's happening on that and a technical verification. And the process is you request verification from SABS. The scope of the verification process, quotations will be issued. Verification audit will then be conducted. And also for audit provided by to SABS Approvals Board for verification session. And upon approval, a local content certificate will be issued. That is also to promote our local manufacturers and really pushing our own South Africa economy. Then another thing that's quite exciting that happened in 2020, and with COVID pushed us into remote auditing. And I think what is quite important here is that we explain this process to our current clients, that it is an option. And obviously with the travel restrictions and COVID protocols that's in place for different companies, this is very important that we engage you guys on this issue. The internet access through is fast, reliable internet connection by all team members as well as the client. So you must have a very decent internet connection, suitable video conference of communication software, Skype, Teams, associated with computer network to enable communication with the client as necessary, including opening and closing meetings. Confirmation of confidentiality of information will be accessed via the internet shall be obtained before the remote access may be scheduled. Whether there is no conflict of interest with all parties, where the client permits accommodates remote audits activities, client must voluntarily opt to have remote audits conducted. Process activities, inadequate visual evidence will need to adequate visual evidence will need to be gathered. Live cameras. Lot of these super companies do got all the appropriate internet connections and technology to assist in that. Just on the next slide, you'll see what's the scenarios if the audit objectives can be obtained with the remote audit process. You can proceed with the remote audit. If the remote audit can only partially be achieved, a remote audit may be done partially and later complemented with an on-site audit. And if there's no audit objective that can be attained via remote audit, a full on-site audit will be done. On a surveillance audit and recertification, it's about the same. If you can do it on-site or remotely, it will be proceed if you've got all the technology. If not, we will proceed with the on-site audits. An additional surveillance visit to complement the conduct remote audit for remainder of the certification cycle to be complement the remote audit. On surveillance also will be postponed by 6 months. So that's really something to consider even in the future for some of the clients who's got access to this technology. This our testing offerings. Is our branding product and service includes sampling. We do product conformity testing, technical evaluations and surveys, and calibration service. That's what we can offer you on our testing. And I thought it might be also a good opportunity just to engage this, especially in this industry, is that you do get a test report and you do get a SABS permit. That is just a sample out of both what each one look like. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit more what a SABS test report will give you and what a SABS permit will give you. Just on that, on a test report, conformity assessment relating to the sample of the product only. The outcomes relate only to the tested product sample. The results do not imply SABS approval. Results also do not apply to any similar samples that have not been tested. You can see your conditions of the test on the back of the SABS test report. The test work related to this report was performed by SABS commercial. This product and its test result relate only to the specific sample identified herein. They do not imply SABS approval for the quality and performance of the items in a question in a test result do not apply to any similar item that has been tested. This report may not be reproduced except in full. The authenticity of this report and its contents can be confirmed by contacting the person who assigned to that. Then your SABS permit. Your SABS for the product must fall in within the SABS SANS national specification. The product is then fully tested to the specification. Your quality system is assessed to ISO 9000 or specific permit conditions. If the product and quality system comply with the requirement, a permit to apply the mark is issued. Certified companies are audited regularly to ensure continued compliance in accordance with the general permit conditions. And there you can apply the mark on your product, and that will really assist you in promotions of your product and advertising. Just on that, our standard sales on the web stores, all standards related to this textile and footwear is available and can be purchased online. You just go to our website, you navigate through the website, you search for the standard, you purchase on your standard through a shopping chart. So all our standards is currently available online. And just our training academy, currently there's quite a lot of training that's been offered online as well. You can also go and look at our website to see what courses are there. There's a couple of training courses that's on offer, the ISO 9001, 14001, 45001. There's quite a lot of products there that you can engage with, and I really will encourage you to go online and go and search in those tabs there if you require any training. And that's all for me. Thank you very much, and I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Henk, and I think that's really been very, very informative to the sector itself. I'm just confirming that you can hear me out there. Perfect, great. So for those on the call, I think what's very, very important is we've shared with you what we envisage as a SABS that's going to change the experience you have in dealing with us. And for that experience to change, there's a few points that I must highlight that are unique to this particular sector. The first and the most important is that the DTIC has done a lot of work in terms of master plans, and master plans leading up to 2030 have already been published in the clothing and textile sector. So very, very important from a SAB side that we will be going through those documents, working closely with you as the industry itself, and making sure that we provide the right support, the right leverage, so that we stimulate the South African economy from this particular perspective. So I think absolutely key, the master plans are there, that you as companies interrogate that. We as a SABS will be pulling you through and making sure that we can work with this as well. The second area that Henk has highlighted is that of local content and the local content system. And again, what has happened, the DTIC has designated this particular sector. So textiles is currently designated as 100% local content. So it's very interesting that what you're going to see is tenders coming out in this particular space, and these tenders will require local content verification to be done, and SABS is the designated or the assigned agency for this particular exercise. So we have our teams that are readily available. Henk has shown you the process flow for local content, but what we've done from a SABS perspective is we have the financial auditors available. We've taken our existing auditors and our existing teams. We've multi-skilled our teams to ensure that as you are required to perform these local content verifications, SABS is ready to provide that necessary support. Also on the local content verification side, like I've said to you, with it being designated 100% local content, it certainly creates an opportunity for factories to be making product locally. And local content extends beyond just the product itself, but it goes and you carry points in terms of the evaluation process if the labor and the workforce are locally based as well. And these are important factors as we all try to stimulate the South African economy. Henk has also touched on remote audits, absolutely key. COVID-19 has taught us as an organization that things are achievable, things can be done differently. And yes, it's new. So by way of an example, SABS as an organization has to be certified by a third party, and our accreditation is through both RVA and SANS. And both these audits were done remotely. And it was initially a daunting task, but to the SABS team that went through this process, we certainly grew with confidence. And by the time we got to the second accreditation body, we suddenly found that this actually can work. The entire audit was done remotely, and we were able to liaise on a day-to-day basis, providing live and updated information to the accreditation body so that evidence could be provided in real time, so that information could be vetted. Now, I do understand that this is a daunting task, and I know it's different, but we've got to start walking down this path because, in my view, this could become the future of auditing. So we need to keep that in mind. SABS has already put out the guidelines for what makes these remote audits count as a fully fledged audit. So it's very, very important that we hold each other's hands, go through this process and test it to see that it can indeed work. And we start to then look at how we take it forward into 2021 as well. So as we reach the last stage, I think most of you would have picked up that we have been picking up a challenge right now with the chat bar, and we haven't been able to put our, we can't view the chat bar at the moment. So as a result, we're not in a position to respond to any questions that you may have had. However, what we will do, and we certainly will then make available through Henk as the client manager, an email address so that you can send us any questions that you may have, so that we can provide you with those responses and take you through any concerns that you might have as well. If I then use this as an opportunity to summarize this presentation today, and the key points or takeaways. One, there's a central planning with access to a central pool of auditors. And for me, this is absolutely key. From having auditors decentralized and only being used predominantly in the region where they were located, with centralization, we now have a pool of 120 auditors that we can utilize across the country to service the business that we have. The second key takeaway is that of the back office or engine room, where the central planning resides. And this really is there to ensure that the day-to-day activities and the management thereof is being controlled and coordinated from a central perspective. We then, Henk introduced himself as the client manager, so you got to see the front end of our business, which really serves as a link not only back to certification, but to sales, to the rest of the organization, which is to our standards division, to our training department. All of these areas, this becomes the link point so that you don't have to have a run around in SABS, but via Henk and the front end team, you have access to, or you can be linked to the right area within SABS. And then lastly, with SABS turning 75 years, and in keeping with that, we are offering all our clients a 15% discount on any initiative that you take up between now and the end of March. So any certification, any new business that you take up, you will qualify automatically for a 15% discount, which we are happy to make sure that you can take up, extend your certifications and enter into new areas. So with that said, I think we're really at a point where we can bring the webinar to a close. I would like to then thank all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join this program, to join this webinar, to meet Henk as your client manager, to get to know what are the developments that have taken place in SABS, and more importantly, to know that all of this you can contribute to, and we can take you on this journey as we tweak and adjust so that we better serve you as a valuable client out there. So with that said, again, thank you and take care. Cheers. Bye.